Hi, I am Faisal, and in this tutorial I will be teaching you about module 7, which is relating to rasters. In this tutorial we'll talk about working with the raster data, changing raster symbology, and finally the last part of this module is about terrain analysis. So in the first part of this module we have following content. We'll be loading raster data, and then we'll create a virtual raster. Then we'll transform the projection of the raster, and finally we'll merge the raster images together. For this tutorial we'll be using following tools. The tools are under processing toolbox, and the name of tool is GDAL. GDAL stands for Geospatial Data Abstraction Library. It is used for reading and writing raster and vector data formats. And following commands will be used. They are build virtual raster, wrap for reprojection, and merge. So this was an overview. Let's get started. Go to your browser and write qgis.org, hit enter, and this page will be open. In this page, follow the QGIS training manual. In this manual, go to module 7, which is about raster. And now this lesson is about part 1, lesson 1 of the module 7, which is about working with raster data. So the first part, working with raster data, is very short. Um, Before going into this, let's read the text. Raster data is quite different from vector data. Why? Because vector data has discrete features with geometries constructed out of vertices and perhaps connected with lines and/or areas. Raster data, however, is like any image. Although it may portray various properties of objects in the real world, these objects don't exist as separate objects. Rather, they are represented using pixels with different values. So, real world objects are close to pixels, which is the basis of raster data. During this module, you are going to use raster data to supplement your existing GIS analysis. And what is the goal? The goal is to learn how to work with raster data in QGIS. Now, in the first part, we will be loading raster data. For this, uh, we will use this folder exercise data raster, and then we'll load these four uh, TIFF files. So, and it will be done from browser panel. So let's do it. I'll first open QGIS, and I'll open QGIS 3.22.3. It will take a while to open. Plugins are being loaded. It is open. Now this panel is known as browse panel, and I'll load my data from here. Okay. So I will go to C, and from C I will go to users, my username, which is here, this computer, it is FR. Then I'll go to downloads. It will take a while because my download folder is very big. Let's see whether it is loaded or not. Let's see. It's very big. The full content of this folder is being read. I'll close some extra panels. I'll keep this processing toolbox for time. For a while, I'll close it. Let's see. I think it is taking time. So what I will do is I'll go to download folder, and from download folder I will copy the training manual data, exercise data. I'll paste this in, say, document. I've already this file here, so I'll replace it. Now go back to QGIS and go to document. In the document, I have this QGIS training manual data, which is release 3.16. Go to exercise. Now in exercise, I'll go to raster. In raster, I have these four data files which I'll be loading. Before loading this, I need to start new project. So I'll press this new project button. New project is started. And now to load this file, what I will do is I'll just drag and drop these four files. So drag and drop them. So see, four files of raster are added. You can see here individual file as following. So the first one is this portion which you can see. The second one is this small square portion. The third one is this strip on the right side, while fourth one is a big square. Okay. So this completes the first part. Now the next task is to create a virtual raster. So let's read it. Now, as you can see from this, your solution lies across all four images. What this means is that you are going to have to work with four raster all the time. That's not ideal. It would be better to have one file to work with. So at this moment, I have four images. It is not recommended to work with four images. It is better to have just one image to work with. Luckily, QGIS allow you to do exactly this and without need to actually create a new raster file. You can create a virtual raster file. Instead of creating a new single file, you can create a virtual raster file. This is also often called a catalog. This virtual raster file will be known as catalog, which explains its function. So this single file will be a catalog file, which will have address of all these four files. It is not really a new raster, rather it is a way to organize your existing raster into one catalog, one file for easy access. Now to make this, we'll go to processing toolbox and we'll use build virtual raster algorithm from GDAR raster miscellaneous. So I'll show you. So first of all, I will open processing and then toolbox. Here we have Control Alt T as a shortcut. And from here, I'll go to this GDAL, click on that, and then raster miscellaneous. In this, I'll click on build virtual raster. So double click this. Now I'll provide four input images. So they can be provided as when you press these meatball buttons, they're just like meatballs. So three dots. Click on this and select all. So it has loaded me four raster files which is present in the layer panel. So I select them all. I'll go back. Now, what other option I should take care of? I'll keep my option as following. Resolution is average. Place each input into separate band. And I think this option need to be unchecked. Let me check. Yeah, here it is written that uncheck the place each input into separate band. This option need to be unchecked. So let's go back here. It is already unchecked. And now I'll keep the other options as default as shown here. So I'll keep other option as default, and then I will run the analysis. So run the analysis. I may run into a problem and I'll explain why this problem happens. So first of all, let me run the analysis. Well, at the moment, I don't have any problem. Uh, and Let me check the log file here. I'll look for errors. So technically what happened is that log file show me which GIS version I'm using, which libraries I'm using, what is the version of JITAR and other tools, what command I used. So I used basically these are my input parameters, okay, and the command I use is following: JITAR build VRT, and these are some options for this, and all of this combined together they give me the virtual raster. So override resolution is average, r nearest, input file list is provided here from some temporary file, and then all of this is the address of the temporary file, and this temporary file is the address of this layer panel. This is the path of this is a temporary path for my output virtual raster file. This is the percentage of progress, and it says the process is completed successfully. So now we have this virtual raster file. So uh, we can close this window, but before closing this window, uh, here by choosing the input, by checking these options, we have a JIDAL command which is generated over here, which is same as this one. Okay, so we can, there's a note here that we can open OSGO shell in Windows, or we can use terminal in Linux and use this tool directly. So I will open this OSGO shell. So let me open it. OSGO. So here we have OSGO shell app. So there are different OSGO shell app. So which one should I open? I'll first go for the information that which version should I use. So this one is OSGO shell 3.2.22.1. So I'll go back. I'll go for QGIS 3.22.3, and here from here I'll open this OSGO shell. OSGO shell is open. Now here let me give a try to this command. The name of the command is JITAR build VRT. So let me copy this command. So let me try whether it works. Yeah, the command works. So see, in OSGeo shell, we can enter these command and we can run these command from command line. But you should make sure that you provide the correct path. And you should run these command from the correct path. This is not recommended path to run this command. We should first go to change directory. Then users folder, then username folder. Inside username, I will go to document, and then I can this command from document. It will work. It should work. Okay. Anyways, um, QGIS provide us to use these external tools. JIDAL is basically external tool. We can run this external tool directly from processing toolbox, or we can run it from console from shell. So I'll close this, and this is our virtual raster. I'll uncheck other uh, four files and see this virtual raster is a single representation of the four files, and it is not real file, it is just representation of the four files. And let's go for next command. The next command is to transform raster data. Now what we will be doing, will be changing the projection. So let's see what's written here. The above method allow you to virtually merge data set using a catalog. Is what we have done, and to reproject them on the fly. So we have merged these data, and they are being reprojected on the fly from here. If I click here, so the projection CRS is automatically being updated on the fly. Okay, so it is a built-in option in new GIS. So however, if you are setting up data that you will be using for quite a while, let's say you are working with data for a long time, it may be more efficient to create new raster that are already merged and reprojected. So in that case, we'll create new raster file by merging it, and we will change its projection in case we want to work with different projection. This improves the performance while using raster in a map, but it may take some time to set up initially. So it will take some time in the beginning, but it can improve performance. So now the next command, next thing to try is reprojection. So this is option wrap. It is warp. Warp is in JITAR raster projection. So let's go for it. Raster projection. Here we have warp option. So I'll double click this, and I'll work with the input layer, which is my virtual raster. Okay, and I'll provide my uh, target CRS. So here the source and target CRS are same, but we can change that. Let me change the target CRS to pseudo marketer. Let me give it a try. Resampling method is nearest neighbor. So when you reproject your raster, so the pixel will change their position, so the final image will need some resampling readjustment, so it will be based on nearest neighbor. This is some technique for which I will record a separate video. So You select a raster, you provide source CRS, you provide the target CRS, or at least you should provide the target CRS. Okay, and then you need to run the command. Let's run this command as well. So it says that the reprojection is done successfully. A new file is created. Again, you can run it will be a command GDAL WAP. You can run this from OSG Shell. So I'll close this window for a while, for now, and let me check this reprojected file properties, and let me go for scroll down. So its CRS is now sudo marketer. Okay, EPSG 3857. So we have reprojected this file. Okay. Now the third task is that as it was discussed above, that if you are working with raster data for a long time, so you need to merge it your calculation will become faster. So how to merge raster? If you need to create a new raster layer and save it to disk, you can use merge algorithm. Now here we have some extra information. Depending on how many raster file you are merging and the resolution, the new raster file can be really big. Consider instead to create raster catalog as described in the create a virtual raster section. So keep in mind that your new raster file will be really big depending upon resolution and input files. So where is merge command? Merge command is inside GDAL raster miscellaneous. So let's do it. So I'll go for GDAL raster miscellaneous and then merge command. I'll double click this input layer. Let's choose input layer. So this time I will press these three dots or meatballs button. Okay, press this and I'll select the four input original input raster. I will select all of them. Okay, I'll go back. What's next? I think output type is float 32. There are some advanced parameters to take care of. So you can add your own options in case if you know this command, if you are familiar with using GDAL tools and you know from its manual, from its documentation, how merge command of GDAL works. So you can go for advanced parameter and you can set your own options here. Okay. So for time being, I'll skip this and I'll browse down and I'll just run this. So this is the progress. This was the command gdal underscore merge dot bat. A batch file is run. And this was option dash ot float 32 dash of gdiff dash o. The input, I think, is the output file. Okay. Dash opt file. This one is the input file. Okay. So that's it. And we make sure that your process is done successfully. Make sure about that. Okay, so this is how this command works, and we have now merged file here. Close this file, and if you see the merge file, so just like virtual, the merge file is a single file, but it is physically a single file. It exists in the hard disk, and it is not a catalog. It is not a representation of the four file. It's not virtual. It is real single file in which four, in our example, four raster files are merged. So what is the conclusion? Conclusion is that QGIS makes it easy to include raster data in your existing project. We have seen how we can work with raster in QGIS. In the next tutorial, we will use raster data that is not aerial imagery and see how symbolization is useful in the case of raster as well. So symbolization is very useful not only for vector but raster as well. So that's it. Thanks for watching this tutorial. We'll see you. I'll see you next time. Thank you.